Is the Shiftpod 3 Mini right for you? I've been using this tent on most of my camping trips this year, and I'm here to give you my personal experience on the Shiftpod 3 Mini. Next on Mission Off-Road. Let me start off by saying I purchased this tent with my own money, so this is not a sponsored video. I've been to so many camping trips where the conditions were pretty harsh and the wind literally destroyed our tent. I was looking for a tent that could withstand the elements, and the Shiftpod Mini or Shiftpod tents in general, are considered shelters and not tents. So I had to give this a try. Here's some product specs on the Shiftpod 3 Mini. It has a footprint of 6 feet 5 inches by 6 feet by 5 inches. It's made of a hexagon pattern multi-layer fabric, carbon fiber frame. The newer version of the Shiftpod 3 Mini has a tub style floor, and the tent has multiple windows, vents, and access ports. The tent comes with a number of accessories. First and foremost, it has a water resistant carry bag with built in straps. Earlier versions of this bag appear to have come with a backpack style carry case. It looks like they got rid of that. It has a solar rain and fly, a 12-inch stainless steel stakes, a combo lock, accessory bag, metal carabiners, sleeping mask, and earplugs. So here I am assembling the tent. As you can see, I have a tarp on the ground. It's like a moisture barrier, or it also keeps the bottom side of the tent clean. I have the timer going so you can see how long it takes me to assemble this tent. I'm not rushing by any means. I'm not trying to sell anyone on how efficient this tent may or may not be. Here I'm looking for the door because I like to point my door towards a good view. In this case, to the left is a beautiful river where we're camping up in the Tioga Pass, and there's just beautiful scenes everywhere. I've also learned that staking down one corner of this tent is very useful when it comes to assembling it. In the past, trying to pop out the doors will shift the tent around a lot, so staking at least one corner down helps with the process. You can see me trying to stop myself from stepping on these silver walls. It takes some practice to pop out these walls because it takes a little bit of extra force. And the last step is to pop the roof. So it looks like in this video it took me 2 minutes and 18 seconds to assemble this tent. That's pretty fast. I'm pretty sure over time and more experience with a tent, I could do that much faster. Here's the interior of the Shiftpod 3 Mini. I was camping on my own. I mean, without family. I was camping with friends, but I was using the tent by myself. So this is a climate sleeping pad. You could probably imagine at least maximum 3 of these could fit in here. I would prefer to just keep this to a 2-person tent because, my gear takes up a lot of space and you want to have more room to move around. But if you had to, I'm sure you could put like 3 adults in here, or 2 adults and some kids. So it's not impossible, but I would prefer to just keep it to 2 people and gear. Here you can see the windows and the carbon fiber frame. Sometimes this is described as being blackout material, although it does limit the amount of light going into the tent. This, in my opinion, this is not truly blackout material since I have a rooftop tent from Free Spirit Recreation, and their blackout material is truly blackout material. You cannot tell what time of day it is in my rooftop tent. Here are a few things I want to mention about this tent. In the past 10 or so years, I've been able to stand up in my current tents. Like I have a couple of core pop-up tents and I'm able to stand in it. So after purchasing this tent, which is somewhat expensive, I find that I am not able to stand in this tent. It's not like they didn't disclose it. I just probably didn't read the description well enough. But the center height is 5 feet 3 inches. So if you're taller than 5 feet 3 inches, you will not be able to stand upright in this tent. Actually, that's at the center. So keep in mind that on the edges of the tent, it's much lower. Um, Another thing to mention is that the airflow isn't that great. As you can see, the portholes are quite small. Even the top vents and the door itself is quite small, so airflow is not very easy in this tent. I know I've read that some people bring fans to circulate air within the tent. um, and that also leads me to the concern about mold and mildew. The Shiftpod website sells a mold and mildew kit, and you could actually see Shiftpod tents on the internet that are being sold that were not cared for properly, and they have a lot of mold and mildew stains on the wall. So that's something I'm very concerned about. Every time I use my tent, I have a microfiber rag to wipe down the walls in case there's some condensation. After my trip, I open it up in the backyard and air it out with a fan, and I blast it with Lysol, assuming that works. Also, I have a large bag of silica gel, hoping that will absorb any extra moisture in the bag. So those are a few things to think about. So let me tell you what I love about this tent. Packed up, it's only 60 inches long at 34 pounds. It is just so easy to place in my vehicle when I'm playing Tetris with all my other overland gear. I don't have to put it on the roof typically. It's very well insulated. On this particular trip, people were complaining about how cold it was at night. I will tell you with full honesty, I did not need my sleeping bag or extra clothing that night. I wish I could recall the temperature of this particular camping trip, but it was off the 395 in Tioga Pass, and it gets pretty cold up there. It's very fast to deploy and pack up, possibly just as fast as my RTT. It really is just the right size for my solo trips, and even if I brought an extra person, it would be just fine. So it's time to pack up. Here I am packing up the tent. We'll start the timer. You start off by collapsing the roof, and you'll see that I am closing the door, but not fully, because you want to make sure the air has a place to escape when you fold the tent. Again, once you get the hang of it, it's easy to pop the walls open and it's easy to pop the walls closed. Here I am folding the tent, and it's easy to do so because I left the door slightly open for the air to escape. And here you see the benefit of the tarp. I don't have to fold up my tent on dirt. So it has two compression straps. So I will put things in position and tie up the tent to make it easy to put inside the bag. And this is a great idea, so I intend to do the same thing with my other tents. I will buy some generic straps so I can tie up my other tents to make it easier to handle when I am solo. The straps are cinching down and making the tent more compact. At the same time, the same exact straps give you give you a handle for the tent. Another cool feature is that the tent bag itself has 3 compression straps internally. So I will put the tent inside the bag and then put those internal compression straps together. And once again, I will tighten the tent, but I don't want to tighten it too much because that's a carbon fiber poles inside. Want to make sure I don't break anything. But I will make that all snug so I could easily close the tent back. And there you have it. It was slightly over 3 minutes for me to put away this tent. Here it is standing next to me. I am 5'6". If you have any questions about the Shiftpod Mini 3, feel free to leave it in the comments section. And I would appreciate if you would like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.